Most men fail, and they don't even realize it. You could be doing everything right, being kind, showing interest, staying loyal, and still, she starts pulling away, losing respect, losing attraction. Why? Because women, whether consciously or not, constantly test the men in their lives. These tests aren't games, they're survival instincts. She's not looking for perfection. She's searching for strength, for certainty, for a man who doesn't crumble under pressure. And here's the harsh truth. Most men fail these secret tests instantly, not because they're bad people, but because they don't even know the game is being played. Today, I'm going to reveal the 7 secret tests women use, the same ones that separate the boys from the men. If you can recognize them and pass them, you immediately stand out from 99% of men she's ever met. If you fail them, well, you become just another forgotten name in her phone. Let's dive into it, starting with the first secret test you need to be aware of. Number 1, ignoring you to see your reaction. One of the first and most common tests women will use is simple. They ignore you. Maybe she takes longer to reply to your messages. Maybe she suddenly seems too busy to see you. Maybe she even acts cold or distant in person. Most men, they panic, they double text, they chase harder, they get emotional, they start asking, is something wrong? Did I do something? Without even realizing that their reaction is the real test. You see, when a woman starts to pull away slightly, she's not always trying to end things. She's often checking if you lose your frame when things don't go your way. Women instinctively know that a man who can't stay calm under emotional pressure isn't strong enough to lead a relationship. Think about it. If you crumble just because she didn't reply for 3 hours, how will you handle real-life stress? How will you handle chaos, loss, disappointment? She's looking, not for perfection, but for emotional stability. For a man who trusts himself so deeply that he doesn't need constant reassurance. So when she ignores you, the worst thing you can do is chase. The best thing you can do? Stay calm. Stay grounded. Keep focusing on your life, your goals, your mission. Maybe you reply later too. Maybe you match her energy. But most importantly, you don't panic. Because deep down, what really attracts her isn't your attention. It's your emotional control. The men who pass this test, they become unforgettable. The men who fail, they become an option. And options are always disposable. Stay centered. Stay composed. Show her and yourself that your value doesn't depend on her temporary attention. That's how you pass the first test. Now let's move to the second one, a much sneakier one that most men never even recognize. Number 2, giving mixed signals. She gives you mixed signals. One day, she's sweet, flirty, fully engaged. The next, she's distant, cold, almost indifferent. Most men, they get caught in the emotional roller coaster. They start overanalyzing every word. They chase harder on the cold days, desperately trying to bring back the warm version of her. And in doing so, they fail the test. Understand this. Women use mixed signals to test one thing, your emotional independence. She wants to see, are you stable or are you reactive? Do you need her validation to stay confident? Are you the man who keeps moving forward no matter what, or the man who gets thrown off by a little emotional turbulence? When you react to her distance by chasing, begging, or getting angry, you're showing her you're not solid within yourself. You're showing her your confidence is dependent on her mood. And no woman, no matter how beautiful or feminine, wants to feel like she's responsible for holding up a man's confidence. The right move when you sense mixed signals? Stay steady. Respond warmly when she's warm. Stay respectful but distant when she's cold. You match energy, not chase it. You show her without saying a word that her fluctuations don't control your emotions. You are the mountain, unshaken by storms. Women admire men who can stay grounded when everything around them becomes unpredictable. That's rare, that's attractive, that's masculine. Pass this test, and you'll notice something incredible. She starts chasing your stability. Fail it, and you'll be chasing her confusion forever. Let's move to the third test, one that strikes at every man's pride if he's not careful. Number 3, making you jealous on purpose. One of the oldest tests in the book, and still one of the most effective. She tries to make you jealous. It could be subtle, mentioning a guy friend a little too often, talking about how other men give her attention, laughing a little too loudly when another guy texts her. Most men, they fall straight into the trap. They get defensive, they get angry, they start questioning her loyalty before there's even a real reason. And in doing so, they reveal deep insecurity. Understand this. A woman will sometimes trigger jealousy intentionally to see if you're easily threatened. She's not always looking to betray you. She's looking to see, can you trust yourself? Can you trust your value? Are you emotionally in control or easily rattled by other men? When you react with jealousy, you show her you doubt yourself. But when you stay calm, when you don't react, when you stay playful and composed, you show her you have zero fear of competition. You're confident that no one else can replace you. That confidence, it's intoxicating. So the next time you sense a woman trying to make you jealous, don't get emotional. Don't get angry. Smile. Stay light. Stay grounded. Because a king doesn't concern himself with court gestures. That's how you pass test number 3 with flying colors. Now let's talk about the fourth test, one that's so sneaky, most men don't even realize they're failing it. Number 4, disrespecting boundaries slightly. The fourth test is subtle, but deadly if you miss it. She crosses a small boundary just to see what you'll do. Maybe she playfully disrespects you in front of friends. Maybe she shows up late without apologizing. Maybe she pushes a limit you once set. Most men, they stay silent. They laugh it off. They tell themselves, it's not a big deal. But here's the truth. It is a big deal. Women test boundaries to see if you're serious about the standards you claim to have. If you let the small things slide, you teach her and yourself that your words mean nothing. A man who doesn't enforce his boundaries isn't seen as kind. He's seen as weak. And attraction cannot survive without respect. The right move when a woman disrespects a boundary? Address it immediately, but calmly. You don't explode. You don't become emotional. You simply acknowledge it, correct it, and move on. Something as simple as, hey, I don't tolerate disrespect like that. If it happens again, I'm out. Director, calm, final. When you enforce boundaries, you show her and yourself that you are a man who values himself. And that kind of man is rare. Fail this test, and you become easy to manipulate. Pass it, and you become the man she knows she can't play with. Now let's move to the fifth test, one that shakes even confident men if they're not ready. Number 5, emotional outbursts to test your stability. The fifth test is raw and intense. She hits you with an emotional outburst. Maybe she accuses you of not caring enough. Maybe she suddenly picks a fight over something small. Maybe she throws emotional chaos at you and watches how you respond. Most men, they get sucked into the drama. They start arguing, defending themselves, raising their voices, losing control. But here's the real test. She's not always looking for an argument. She's testing your emotional stability. She wants to know, can you stay grounded when emotions run high? Are you a rock she can lean on, or just another boy who breaks under pressure? When you react emotionally, you show her you're not in control of yourself. But when you stay calm, when you hold your frame even as she storms, you show true masculine power. It's not about ignoring her feelings. It's about responding with strength, not reacting with weakness. A calm, steady man in the middle of chaos, that's magnetic. So next time she erupts emotionally, don't meet fire with fire. Breathe, stay composed, speak low and slow. Show her and yourself that you're built for the storm. Because women don't consciously want to create drama. What they truly want is to feel safe in a man's presence. Pass this test, and you'll feel her respect for you deepen. Fail it, and you'll become just another emotional boy she outgrows. Now, on to the sixth test, one that many men spot too late. Number 6. Flirting lightly with other men around you. The sixth test cuts deep if you're not prepared. She flirts lightly with other men right in front of you. It might be subtle, a smile that lingers too long, a playful laugh at another guy's joke, a casual touch on the arm during conversation. Most men, they react instantly. They get jealous, they confront her, they try to mark their territory aggressively, and without realizing it, they fail the test. Understand this. When a woman flirts lightly around you, she's not always looking to disrespect you. She's checking your composure. She wants to know, are you secure in yourself? Or do you crumble the second competition appears? Real masculine energy doesn't panic. It doesn't compete. It owns the room without needing to dominate it. When you stay relaxed, confident in your own value, you send a powerful message. I am the prize here. I'm not threatened by anyone. That unshakable calmness, it pulls her back to you, fast. The next time you see her flirting lightly in front of you, smile. Stay composed. Stay playful. You don't need to react, because you already know you're the man she truly wants. Pass this test, and you elevate yourself in her eyes without saying a word. Fail it, and you fall into the same emotional traps as every insecure man before you. Now let's move to the final and most dangerous test. Number 7, asking you to prove your value. The final, and often most dangerous, test is this. She subtly or directly asks you to prove your value. Maybe she says things like, if you really cared, you would. Other guys would do this for me. Show me how much you want me. Most men? They fall right into the trap. They start over-investing. They chase harder. They compromise their standards just to prove they're worthy. And in doing so, they lose the very thing that made them attractive in the first place, their self-respect. Understand this. Real value doesn't need to be proven. It's simply lived. A high-value man knows who he is. He doesn't need to jump through hoops to impress anyone. So when a woman tests you by asking you to prove yourself, the right move is simple. Stay composed. Stay grounded. Smile. Keep leading your life with strength and purpose. Because when you don't react to her demands for validation, you show her, and yourself, that you're already enough. You're not in competition. You're not seeking approval. You are the approval. That quiet confidence is magnetic. Pass this test, and you separate yourself from every man desperate for her attention. Fail it, and you become just another pawn in her emotional game. So now you know the 7 secret tests women use. The same ones that silently determine whether you're seen as a strong, grounded man or just another fleeting connection she'll forget. And here's what matters most. You don't need to pass these tests to earn her love. You need to pass them to earn your own respect. Because these aren't just relationship tests, they're life tests. They reveal whether you can lead when things get uncertain, whether you can stay calm when emotions rise, whether your values are real, or just words you use when it's easy. Women instinctively test for strength, not to break you, but to feel safe with you. To know that when life gets hard, and it will, you'll be the one who doesn't fold. You'll be the one who doesn't chase chaos or run from discomfort. And when you stand your ground, not with aggression, not with ego, but with quiet confidence, she'll feel it. The respect, the attraction, the emotional safety. It all starts there. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be anchored. Anchored in purpose, anchored in values, anchored in yourself. Because in a world of reactive men, the one who stays composed becomes magnetic. In a world of noise, the man who moves with calm, silent power, that man becomes unforgettable. So if you've been ghosted, tested, doubted, disrespected, use it. Use it as fuel, not to chase her, but to build you. Because once you master yourself, no test can shake you, no woman can confuse you, and no moment can steal your frame. You become the rarest kind of man, the one who doesn't just attract, but leads, inspires, and commands respect. And that is the path of the Stoic. If you found power in this message, drop a like, subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments. Which one of these tests have you faced, and how did you respond? I read every comment. Stay strong, stay stoic, and as always, stay uncommon.